August 2nd to 16 BC, the sun rises over the worst military disaster in Roman history. 70,000 soldiers lie dead on Italian soil. An entire generation of Rome's finest senators, consuls, citizens slaughtered in a single afternoon. But here's what haunts historians to this day. Rome had every advantage: superior numbers, better equipment, fighting on home territory. This wasn't just a defeat, it was a mathematical impossibility, a battle that defied every law of warfare. The Romans called it Cannae, and it should have never been lost. Asterisk, asterisk, meet the Romans, masters of the known world. Their military machine had conquered Italia, Greece, and Spain. 87,000 infantry, 6,000 cavalry, the largest army Rome had ever assembled, led by two consuls Gaius Terentius Varro and Lucius Aemilius, policemen hungry for glory. They faced a ghost, Hannibal Barca, the Carthaginian general who had crossed the Alps with war elephants, who had already defeated Rome 3 times. But now he was trapped. His army was half the size of Rome's. His supplies were running out. His allies were abandoning him. Every strategist, ancient and modern, agrees. Hannibal should have retreated. Instead, he chose to fight. Asterisk, asterisk, let's talk numbers. Rome, 87,000 men. Carthage, 50,000. Rome controlled the field. Carthage was backed against a river with nowhere to run. Rome had fresh reinforcements 15 miles away. Carthage was exhausted from 2 years of campaigning. The odds: military historians calculate Rome had a 94% probability of victory. But Hannibal understood something the Romans didn't. Wars aren't won with numbers. They're won with psychology. The Roman generals made one fatal assumption: that more soldiers meant certain victory. Hannibal's entire strategy depended on that arrogance. Asterisk, asterisk. June 216 BC, the Roman Senate issues a direct order: destroy Hannibal. Consul Varro sees glory. Consul Paulus sees disaster. Ancient historian Polybius recorded their argument. Paulus warns, Hannibal wants us to attack. This is a trap. Varro counters, we have twice his numbers. How can we lose? Roman command alternated daily between the two consuls. On August 1st, Paulus holds the army back. On August 2nd, Varro takes command. He orders the attack. The die is cast. Here's the shocking truth. Modern analysis reveals: if the Romans had simply waited 3 more days, Hannibal would have been forced to retreat due to starvation. Varro's impatience cost Rome an entire generation. Hannibal positions his forces in a crescent, a slight bulge facing the Romans. He places his weakest troops in the center: Gauls and Spaniards, men he knew would break. On the flanks, his elite African infantry, hidden from Roman view. His cavalry outnumbered, but superior on the wings. The Romans see weakness in the center, and do exactly what Hannibal predicts. They pack their massive infantry into a tight column. 87,000 men compressed into a space barely wide enough for 40,000. They're shoulder to shoulder. They can barely lift their weapons. Hannibal has turned Rome's greatest advantage, overwhelming numbers, into a fatal weakness. The Romans can't maneuver, can't retreat, can't even fight effectively. They're trapped before the battle even begins. Asterisk, asterisk, the Roman infantry charges. The Carthaginian center gives ground exactly as planned. The Romans think they're winning. They push deeper. The crescent bends inward, becoming a U-shape. Romans surge forward into what they believe is victory. Then Hannibal springs the trap. His African infantry on both flanks wheels inward, striking the Roman sides simultaneously. The cavalry, having destroyed Rome's horsemen, circles behind and closes the exit. The Romans realize too late. They're surrounded, completely encircled by a smaller force. Military term: envelopment. Rome's 87,000 are now trapped in a killing box. They can't retreat, can't spread out, can't even turn around. For 6 hours, it's not a battle, it's an execution. Asterisk, asterisk, the mathematics are horrifying. 70,000 Romans dead in 6 hours. That's 194 deaths per minute. 3 soldiers killed every second. The Carthaginians lost 6,000. A kill ratio of 11 to 1. Modern forensic archaeologists examined the battlefield. They found something chilling: evidence of systematic slaughter. Romans died in organized rows, trapped so tightly they couldn't defend themselves. Livy wrote, some were found with their heads buried in the earth, having suffocated themselves. They chose suffocation over being cut down. Among the dead 80 senators, 29 military tribunes, both consuls Paulus died fighting. Varro fled. This single battle killed nearly 20% of Rome's adult male citizens. Imagine the United States losing 25 million soldiers in one afternoon. That's the scale. Asterisk. Here's where the story takes its most baffling turn. Hannibal has just achieved the impossible. Rome's army is destroyed. The road to Rome lies open only 250 miles, virtually undefended. His officers beg him, "March on Rome now. We can end this war in 5 days." Hannibal's cavalry commander, Hannibal, famously declares, "You know how to win a battle, Hannibal, but you don't know how to use your victory." But Hannibal refuses. He doesn't march on Rome. Instead, he retreats to southern Italy. Historians have debated this decision for 2,200 years. Was it strategic caution? Did he lack siege equipment? Was he waiting for political collapse in Rome? Or did he make the greatest military blunder in history? Because here's what happened. Rome didn't surrender. Despite losing 70,000 men, Rome refused to negotiate. They raised new armies. 16 years later, Rome destroyed Carthage and Hannibal fled into exile, dying alone in Asia Minor. Cannae is still studied at every military academy on Earth. West Point, Sandhurst, China's National Defense University. Why? Because Hannibal proved something that still terrifies military planners. Superior numbers guarantee nothing. The Battle of Cannae appears in the US Army Field Manual 320. It's cited in analyses of the Gulf War, where coalition forces used double envelopment to trap Iraqi divisions. The Germans attempted encirclement at the Battle of Tannenberg in 1914. Modern military doctrine categorizes it as the perfect example of defeat in detail, destroying a larger force by collapsing its ability to use its size. But there's a darker lesson. Strategic victory doesn't guarantee ultimate success. Hannibal won the battle but lost the war. Tactical brilliance without strategic follow-through is meaningless. In 2016, a team of Italian archaeologists made a discovery that changes everything we thought we knew about Cannae. Using ground-penetrating radar and DNA analysis of remains, they found evidence that challenges 2,000 years of accepted history. The Romans didn't just lose because of tactics. Many of the dead showed signs of advanced dehydration and heat exhaustion. Cannae occurred during one of the hottest summers in Italian history. Temperatures exceeded 105 degrees Fahrenheit. The Romans, packed shoulder to shoulder in full armor, were dying of heat stroke before the Carthaginians even struck. Hannibal had studied the weather patterns. He knew the heat would be unbearable. He knew the dusty terrain would choke the massed Romans. The trap wasn't just tactical, it was environmental. Rome lost because Varro ignored the elements. Nature was Hannibal's greatest ally. The Roman historian Livy recorded what happened when news of Cannae reached Rome. There was not a single family that did not mourn. In a city of 400,000, nearly every household lost someone. The Senate declared an official period of mourning, limited to 30 days, because longer would have paralyzed the Republic. Women were forbidden from wearing jewelry for a year. The mass funeral pyres burned for weeks. But here's what makes Rome extraordinary. They didn't surrender. They didn't negotiate. The Senate issued a statement. "We thank Consul Varro for not despairing of the Republic." They raised new legions from boys, aged 16, and freed slaves to fight. This battle that should have ended Rome became the moment that defined Roman resilience. Sometimes the greatest victories come from refusing to accept defeat. Today, the fields of Cannae are quiet. Wheat grows where 70,000 men died. A small memorial marks the spot where Rome's greatest army fell. The battle that should have never been lost teaches us something profound. Victory isn't determined by resources, numbers, or even tactical brilliance. It's determined by understanding your enemy, adapting to conditions, and having the resilience to survive failure. Hannibal won the perfect battle, but couldn't finish the war. Rome lost everything but refused to quit. 22 centuries later, we remember both. The genius who proved that David could defeat Goliath, and the republic that rose from its own ashes. Some battles are never truly won or lost. They simply become lessons written in blood, preserved for every generation that follows. This is Cannae, the battle that changed everything.